Welcome back. So this is part 3 of the video. You saw part 1, you saw part 2. You want to know more, you want to get invested in the game. Now, what do we do to get invested to the game? Well, in my opinion, you play. You got to play the game to get more involved, right? And the best way to do that is with a starter deck. So you can go to somewhere like Cactus Game Design, pick one up for 12 bucks. Good Huntsman, 3 Lions, or Your Turn Games. If you want more than that, say you've already played with the starter decks, or you want to pick up some product, in my opinion, the best way to do that is to go to Your Turn Games, go to the Contenders decks, and pick up a rotation theme Contenders deck from one of these categories here. You've got different categories like Joshua Heroes, the Judges, Royal Heroes, Post-Exilix, lots of different themes to pick from. Now, the reason why you should pick up a rotation deck versus a classic deck is because there's a difference. There's a difference in format. And what that means, if we come over to the database, like I talked about earlier, and you go in here under the filter options, you look up Rock of Ages and Rock of Ages 2008. If you look here at Solomon's Temple versus Alexander, they're different. Like I talked about in the first video, they changed the frame for the card in later sets because printing the special ability on the artwork wasn't working because it was difficult to read. It hid the artwork and it didn't make for a very well designed card format, right? And so they added a text box, made the art a little bit smaller, separated the art and the actual text. Now, in the rotation format, only cards with this text box are legal. So, like in Rock of Ages, only the last tin, Rock of Ages, was a collector's tin set. They had a series of 26 of them. Only the last tin, tin 26, all 10 cards from tin 26 are legal in the rotation format, which would be these here. Now, there is a more in-depth list of what is legal in rotation, but the gist of it is Rock of Ages and the starter decks going forward are all legal, barring some exceptions in the rotation format. And so to name a few of those, Early Church, Persecuted Church, Fall of Man, Cloud of Witnesses, Revelation of John, Prophecies of Christ, Lineage of Christ, all legal for the rotation format. There might be more that I missed. It's possible that I did miss a few. But like I said, get a starter deck. If you already have a starter deck, get yourself a Contenders deck from Your Turn Games. Now, if you don't want to get a deck, if you don't want to get a Contenders deck, if you can't afford the sub $100 price tag, that's fine. Get yourself a battle box from Your Turn Games, a grab bag or a battle box, and then you can build the deck from that. Or just play with the starter decks. The alternative to that is to play on Lackey. Like I described earlier, you can go here on Lackey.
Welcome to Lackey.
Here it is. And download the plugin for Redemption. You got to download Lackey first, and then you get a plugin, and then once you have the plugin for Redemption, then you can update it, and then you'll have all of the cards, or almost all of the cards, for rotation legal format to be able to play with online with other people, because Lackey does have a server to play with other people on. So this link, I'm going to link this here in the description. This is how you actually get to Lackey. So here's the Lackey download, as well as the update list for Redemption. This will be linked in Redemption, or in the description for this video, so that you can get to the Redemption plugin for Lackey. With that being said, if you're still interested in doing more, right? Even you don't want to get a contender deck, you don't want to play online, you don't want to start a deck, you want more than that, it might be time to start investing into the game. What does that look like? Well, buying sealed or sealed product like this. Either packs. I recommend boxes. You get, I think it's 24. Let's check here on your Lions, on Good Huntsman. In a display box, 24 packs of cards in a display box, right? That might be one way to go if you really want a bunch of cards from one specific set. If you don't and you want to buy singles, I have some recommendations. Go on Your Turn Games or some of the other websites. Your Turn Games has a singles list here. They have a sort filter by some of the featured or best-selling. And you look up here some of the best-selling cards. Endless Treasures, Storehouse, Leviathan, Joshua the Conqueror, all wonderful cards. Now, my personal recommendation, if you really want to get involved with the actual game itself and look into buying some cards, right? So some specifics. I'll give you a few specific cards that I think are great to invest in if you really want to buy cards. If you really, really, really want to buy cards. And I'm not telling you to buy cards here. These are just suggestions. If that's what you want to do, I highly recommend picking up 2 Dominants. 3 Woes and the Second Coming are utilized in a lot of the decks just because they're very good. You can go here on Your Turn Games or on the database and read up the card, see what they do. They may not make sense when you first start out playing, but you will utilize both of these cards a lot. So I definitely recommend buying some. Book of the Covenant, also a really really used card in the game. It goes in a lot of decks. Very good. Some Lost Souls, the Remnant Lost Soul, not specifically the Remnant Soul, but a lot of the Lost Souls in the game with special abilities are highly used in the game. Some good examples of those are the Dull Soul, the Forsaken Soul, Prosperity, and Darkness. I'm missing one of the New Testament souls, but the Dull Soul is definitely one of those. We'll look up the Dull Soul here, get an idea of what it is. This card here, it's $15, cheaper than the other ones, but these cards see a lot of play. And the reason is because they're good. And if you really want to get into the game, picking up some of these might be a good idea. Now, I don't recommend doing that off the bat. I more recommend getting a contenders deck. If you really want to get your hands on some product and you don't care what it is, buy a booster box or a grab bag. But please don't go and buy a ton of singles and not know what they are and think you're going to have a complete collection just based on singles, because your deck might not need some of those singles. But the ones that I recommended are all highly used. And so if that is what you want to do, I would look into getting some of those. So alternatives, like I said, grab bags. If you do buy grab bags, make sure they're rotation legal grab bags, right? If you go on Cactus Game Design, they have a grab bag, right? Jumpstart your collection. I bought this when I first started. It is a box of 500 cards. It includes cards from Apostles, Patriarchs, Angel Wars, and Priests. I'm just going to say don't buy this if you want to get your hand on rotation cards, because there aren't any. There are no rotation cards in this grab bag. There are non-rotation cards, and for $33, that's a great value. But if you want rotation cards, you're not going to get them in here. It's much better to go to Your Turn Games, go under grab bags, and grab a rotation grab bag instead. Similar price, but all the cards will be legal. The rotation format is what we use in all of the tournaments, including nationals. And it's the most heavily played because I guess it's just our premier format. And, you know, if you don't want to play rotation and you're okay with that, that's fine. You can play classic. There's lots of people who do. And nobody's telling you to only play rotation, but if you want to play rotation, make sure you don't get classic cards. That's all I'm going to say. And if you want more information about that, just ask in the Discord or in the Redemption subforums or the subreddit. So those are my recommendations. Definitely go on to Land of Redemption if you want to get more involved. Read some of these articles. You know, even on here on the Land of Redemption page, under the strategy articles, they even list out some of the support cards or staples in the game. So classic staples here, and I believe they do have some rotation staples. If they don't, some of the classic staples, as long as they have the text box for the special ability, they are legal in rotation. So make sure that they do, unless barring a few corner cases. But those are my recommendations. If you really want to get involved, I think that's the best way to do it. And other than that, guys, I think that's it. That's kind of the Redemption primer. You got to know basics about the game, where to get more information, and if you want to get involved, what you should do. You know, when I first started out, I didn't have any of this information. I got myself one of the grab bags from the Cactus Game Design, a box from them. I got a box from Good Huntsman, and I got a few loose packs from other places. And it really helped me to get a hold of the cards and play with them, but I didn't know what I had. And so it would have been much better if I got involved with the Discord or the Reddit, or I had a podcast at that time for me to be able to go and listen and hear what some of the other people are saying about the game. And so because of that, I didn't end up playing a lot of games, and so I didn't end up learning too much about the game. And so it is my recommendation that if you're going to get involved with the game, or you'd like to, 100% start playing some games. Be it online through webcam or one of the other ways of playing online, or in person with someone else. Lots of people in the community are more than willing to play some starter game decks with you, some starter deck games with you. So if you have a starter deck, I'll play the J deck or the I deck, or somebody else in the community might, and we can play it on webcam, and you can ask questions, we can get rules, we can go through some of the depth, some of the strategy in the game. You know, we just go in a voice chat on the Discord channel and start talking. And so there's so many different ways of being able to get involved with the Redemption community, and I hope you'll join us. But that's it. So thanks again, guys. Thanks for watching this video. If you want to see more content like this, feel free to subscribe to the channel, and in the future when I post more, it'll be available to you on your YouTube feed. So that's all. Thanks, guys. Have a wonderful day.